Hey there, friends! Welcome to another Dinkum video. Well, the 3-year anniversary of Dinkum being released is almost upon us. And the 2-year anniversary of my channel just passed as of yesterday, if my calculations are correct. The video series that launched my channel was also a tropical resort build that was modeled after a hotel in Cancun, Mexico. And the inspiring tour we're about to take is also inspired by a resort in Mexico from Cabo San Lucas. This was built on my Catalina Island, my very first Dinkum Island, that has gone through a complete makeover since the early days, and this is where this resort resides. It was built over a series of several live streams, and I've added more to it since then. So I wanted to take you guys on a little tour of this wonderful tropical resort, and we can all take a virtual vacation together. This build was modeled after a hotel called the Pueblo Bonito in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. I was there in June and July of 2020, shooting a destination wedding. In fact, it was the last wedding I did as a professional wedding photographer, and what a way to go out. This was a sister resort to the place we stayed at, and I was really inspired by all the color and just the architecture. And of course, it's not an exact replica, but it is heavily inspired by. So let's go take a look. Well, this time we went bigger and better with the resort. The Pueblo Bonito Rosé is pink. Like this pink, I think, sandstone, maybe. It's been 5 years since I was there, so my memory isn't 100% perfect. But the whole build centered and started with this beautiful pool that's in the center of this courtyard. Now, the actual hotel has, I believe, 3 different pools, but I was not going to be able to replicate that quite to the same level of accuracy. So I thought 1 is fine, especially when you've got this beautiful hotel that surrounds it and is surrounded by the ocean. I obviously utilized a lot of the beach furniture and a lot of the tropical plants and trees. Full disclaimer, this was built in creative mode. I actually started this started this entire build before the 1.0 release started. In fact, we started this build months and months and months ago. Before I think even the hot update. It took quite a while to get through it, and there was a lot of replication, which if you watched any of my streams, you know I really struggle with. But you've got the main body of the hotel over here. You know, this would be the entrance, and of course, you've got, you know, any 5-star resort, gosh, I can't talk today, you guys. As you know, should have be flanked with these perfect gems, right? Aquamarines. But if you walked in here, this would be where the lobby would be. And then these would be more of the lower, more economy classrooms, perhaps, that, you know, just have the courtyard view and then ocean view on the other side. But what the really, like, wow showstopper would be these little villas here that each have their own private entrance and balcony/pool area. Let me show you. So I built this when you had to do the place item command for the pergolas and then be able to put things underneath it. Well, now with the 1.0 release, you can place things under the pergolas without all that rigmarole, as they say. Each little balcony area has a slightly different layout and slightly different furniture. I did that to create a little bit of, you know, visual interest, and so that everything wasn't exactly the same everywhere. This was, inspired by several other people's tropical resort builds that I had seen where they had done something similar, and I really loved how this came out. There's a lot of symmetry here. But we did change it up in small ways in each little balcony design. I love that we chose the pink, the green, the white, and like the tan, and some accents of black to really make this build really come to life. Now, the backside of each of these little villas is a outdoor patio with its own little infinity edge pool that goes down into a fake waterfall. Again, each one is decorated slightly differently and has slightly different furniture just to give a little bit of difference. You know, for anybody who actually came over to my island and toured and walked around, it wouldn't look exactly the same in every single space. But the layout is the same. And the dimensions are the same. And I utilize the interior walls to create a privacy block between each individual villa without dirt printing up and giving it a little bit more of an airy feel. And people can kind of see a little bit, but you know, obviously our Dinkum characters, you know, it's head height. The metal flower boxes are kind of meant to represent like an air conditioning system, and these are maybe skylights or, you know, modern windows at the top here, just to kind of, you know, give a little something to where it's not completely flat. And oh, look, my friend Blob probably came and snuck in a few little blobfish. But yes, this side here is completely mirrored over there on that side. It did take quite a while. And like I said, several streams, and me mirroring things has always been such a challenge. Also, another feature point of this entire build is the sign. You know, you need something that's impressive to go with your beautiful tropical resort. Well, you know, you got to have a sign. And I do believe the actual resort had something very similar out front when you drove up. So, you know, you do what you can to mimic real life, and you take some creative liberties. I did mirror it over here on this side as well. Now, one of the things we didn't really talk about right at first is that there's this dock here. I did utilize the new brick pergolas to make this dock. I sunk them down a little bit, and then I dirt printed and put in a rope fence here. And of course, boats can dock and drop off passengers, cruise ships, whatever your imagination is. And the guests will come in, they arrive, and they have a lovely stay at our beautiful, beautiful resort. So let's go take a look at around the grounds, and I'll show you a little bit of what everything looks like on the beaches. So over here on the northern side of the beach, I have the villas, you know, the back side of the villas where the infinity pool kind of comes into their little fake waterfall thing here. I had dirt printed some loungers. Now this is an old trick I saw several years ago. Somebody in Dinkum, and I think I'm drawing a blank. I might have been Soho. I'm not 100% sure. I think the idea originated with her. But again, you know, time and memory, not so great. So I do apologize if I got that wrong, but I wanted to have something kind of like this. Every area to be slightly different, because there's going to be so much monotony in a row that you want to have a little bit of something different every time your eye, you know, goes to a different new area. Of course, you've got a little spot here for building sandcastles, and oh, my poor beach ball went flat. Down here, we've got a little tiki bar area where somebody can mix up some drinks and, you know, enjoy this beautiful ocean view. Now, I did a little something here with the ramps to try to make a kind of a gradual entrance into the ocean. It's not looking as great as I would like, but for the moment, we're going to leave it. This is still a work in progress. There's still a few things I would like to do, but I figured it's finished enough that we can take a tour and do some inspiring to all of those out there looking to build something for the summer weather on their island. Now, right here is where we have all the cabanas on this side of the beach. So I think there's 6 or 7 of them. I love, love, love this bed in the game. And it really reminds me of the beds that were in the little cabanas for the beach area at the resort that I stayed at. Of course, we utilize the beach towel here as like a little rug. Imagine getting like a massage out here. Wouldn't that be amazing? I use tiki torches, the festoon, curtains, all the stuff just to really give it a breezy, you know, sort of airy look. And then this pergola is the cloth topped one, and every single one is laid out basically exactly the same all the way down. Something, you know, something you could rent. We actually considered renting one when we stayed, and it was really expensive, and so we didn't do it. But I do love laying out on the sand, listening to the sound of the ocean, and I imagine that that's what the guests of this hotel will be doing, and enjoying all those wonderful ocean views. Now over here is the hotel restaurant / cafe / bar, whatever you want to call it. Got a lot of outside dining, and then it's 2 levels. I wanted to fill in these kind of awkward spaces where the two wings met the main area, and I thought, you know, we need something besides rooms. We need amenities that guests would really enjoy. And so we have a rooftop restaurant and an outdoor patio for you know, just dining next to the ocean. And then you've got this long hotel. And here's the, I guess, back entrance, if you will. Obviously, more blobfish. It's a joke. Or something. I also went through and put some coral out here. I think I'm going to redo some of this and raise it up so that at nighttime you can see the subtle glow that a lot of the coral has. You can kind of see it down here, especially on this rock at night. And I really think if I go through and raise up some of the coral, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But again, we've got another little tiki bar area on this end with some seating, another sandcastle. And over here, we have the hotel club. I like the use of the metal floor and the mushroom pathing. We've got a little VIP area. Of course, we use the throwing discs to really create a lot of colored light. It makes it a lot more fun. And now that there's the cassettes in the game that play all kinds of different music, I definitely came in and changed those out. Now, this is how old this build is, because the DJ is the little watermelon scarecrow. It was before we even had mannequins, you guys, I think. This is, I think, just the statue that was in the game. It is not a mannequin. I need to change that out because he ain't wearing no clothes. And while this is a tropical beach resort, it is still a little family friendly. Now, over here on this side, I wanted to keep it just very natural and more plain, because there's a lot going on in this build. And I thought, let's build a water feature, fill it with flowers, put some bushes around, and then just put some trees. Now, we might put some picnic areas out here. I know a lot of resorts have, you know, tennis courts and other things like that, but I really didn't want to distract from sort of the natural beauty of things and the architecture of the hotel itself. And of course, this all goes back to my main part of my island. Way over there in the distance, very faint, you can see the Tucker Box area, and if you peek through the trees there, that's the back of my museum. We'll have to do something really cool over here. I'm not sure what yet, but stay tuned. Now I'm going to take you over here and show you one of the condos that you can rent. Now, this is basically a single unit of the villa from the hotel. Oh, you like that turkey up there? The layout is just a tiny bit different. You know, you got this little front patio area. And then, of course, if you come up here, there is a covered balcony. But instead of having the pool in the back, it's on the side. If you come out the back of the villa or condo, whatever you want to call it, you've got this little patio area. And then you come down here and you have your pool. And I made this, and I had a how-to video on how to build it because I figured some people may not want to build this gigantic hotel. I will say that it is definitely, that over there is a much more advanced kind of building situation, but this in small pieces, a little more attainable, a little easier to achieve. So I made this. It's basically the exact same thing as one of the villas over there, but it's just a single unit, and we modified it just a little bit to have the pool and everything on the side. I'm going to build some more of these, perhaps over on that island that you can rent as a part of the experience here at the resort. But one of the most fun things, and actually one of the most beautiful nature builds I've ever done, and I don't do nature very well, as a lot of you know, was this little area over here. Now this took, all these turkeys, I tell you. This area took several live streams to make this happen. This is the bungalows. So imagine Bora Bora and the over-the-water bungalows. That's what this is modeled after. I figure any kind of resort like that is going to have something super, super, ultra elite fancy, and this is it. Now, this area, I didn't do a whole lot of dirt printing. I did do some to build it up a little higher, but this was already elevated, and I just decided, you know what, we'll put some waterfalls here and there and all the tropical plant life we can think of. I also buried a lot of acacia trees and bottlebrush trees to create a very big, bushy, very leafy existence. And then, of course, my friend SunnyAnn got out there and put a ton of coral all around to really add to the tropical vibe. But as you can see here, you've got waterfalls spilling down everywhere and all kinds of tropical plants. But what's really cool about this is the little bungalow areas. Now, with the addition of the rope fencing, the rope bridging, I changed out the bridges that were here and put these in because I feel like this really fits the vibe and the area so much better. But here you have your little bungalow, and you've got, again, an outdoor seating area under a pergola. And then at nighttime, you've got all this coral that kind of, you know, very lightly illuminates the ocean. But there are 6 of these, and each little covered pergola area is slightly different, just like with the villas over at the resort, and everybody's balcony is a little bit different furniture. We continued on with the green and white and pink theme over here as well. And then you just wind your way around on the path. I wanted to keep it incredibly lush and overgrown. I mean, it's what I would imagine any tropical resort that has this sort of feature would utilize this. I also put some floor lights here and there just to create some soft lighting. But there are 6 bungalows that you can rent. And out here, the view is pretty spectacular at night with the coral that kind of slightly glows, especially those little tables over there, the blue and the pink. Sunny did a great job of getting those going and really making this area special. And we've got a tiny little island out there. What are we going to do with it? Now, this area looks really pretty at night as well, and we'll definitely take a look at that here in just a little bit. But this is definitely the most complicated and involved tropical resort that I've ever built in Dinkum. It's really only my 3rd one. I built the one on my island, and then I helped my friend SunnyAnn do some of hers. And then, of course, we came over here and built this one. And again, it was over the course of many, many live streams. I will try to remember to link those in the description down below, and hopefully in the little cue card box up in the right-hand corner of your screen. So that is the bungalows, guys. Definitely a more fancy area. Costs a little bit more to stay over there. Now I've got to figure out something to do with some pathing. And again, if I build another one of these condos, am I going to put them over there on the island that's on the other side over that direction? Or do I put another one maybe right here at the entrance of the bungalows? I don't want everything lined up and very, very same. I do, since the architectural design is very similar, I don't want everything lined up in a row. That's why the bungalows are not. I'll give you guys a quick look at my map. So this is what it looks like from the map. You can see the little bungalow area up here, and see they're not in a row. They're in a row, but they're not all lined up, I guess I should say. And I did not do any terraforming to this island. That is what it looked like. And then we just put a bridge in. And then, of course, you've got the hotel here. Now, some terraforming did take place to kind of round out this area because it was pretty short. I did take out a small island that was here. I don't know what we're going to do with this yet. We may, utilize that as like a diving area or something. I also kind of want to come in and dirt print and make this a little less flat. So that's why I say this is still a work in progress. And this condo, I think we'll do a couple of those over here. Just to kind of spread this area out as far as possible. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll build some tree houses or something over in this area. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what it looks like on the map. If you compare it to my entire town, it's pretty large in area. And of course, this island has quite a few massive areas, if we're being honest. So, it just fits in. No tropical resort build is complete without doing kind of a sunset tour. I mean, look at that sky, right? Gosh, does anybody want a vacation? I sure do. Well, for now, this resort on my Dinkum Island will have to survive. Look at that. The lighting in this game is phenomenal. I wanted to give you guys an aerial tour of the resort at night so you could really see what the scope of this is and also just how beautiful it is at night as well. And we're airborne. All right, so this is the front of the hotel at night. I utilized a lot of floor lights, as you can see, some glow buttons here and there, but everything gives off a very, very soft glow. I didn't want anything too terribly harsh. You've got the 2 wrought iron lights there, and you got the 2 wrought iron lights up here by the entrance of the hotel. That's probably the brightest light here in this area. I wanted to keep it really soft and subtle. Even the lighting inside the balconies, there's some floor lights in there set down here and there. You might be able to see them as we pass by. Of course, the sign, got some of the throwing discs, but it's well illuminated, but without being super, super bright. Now this side here is a little dark. I actually left it that way on purpose because I do feel like there is, in areas like this on resorts, there are areas that are a little darker, less lit up. You wouldn't have all that lighting there. You take a look at the resort from this area, from this angle. Those cabanas, man, I could sleep on one of those. Get the best night's sleep of my life listening to the waves roll in. Who doesn't love that, right? Then, of course, our club looks absolutely amazing at night. The disco balls really add something. The music really adds something. You got the little moon lamp down there. Truly, truly, this is one of my favorite builds at this point. I loved putting this together. I had many, many, many people help me make this happen and make it a reality. This was not a solo project. I had worker bees come over and help with dirt printing and changing sand to dirt or dirt to sand, vice versa. You name it, they were game. I'm going to take you over here now to the bungalow area, and y'all can see that from the air. But I do appreciate everyone's help who came over to make this vision become a reality. I absolutely love this. It's probably one of the most, this is something I'm the most proud of, probably next to this fledgling little downtown area we've been building in our creative streams every Thursday night. I really think that this is very reminiscent of what a tropical resort looks like. I think it came off very well. If you looked at pictures, it would definitely, you'd be like, yeah, I can see it. Got the night music in Dinkum, gotta love that. So yeah, this is the Pueblo Bonito Rosé Hotel here on Catalina Island, my creative island, where we build all kinds of really cool things. And I thought I'd take you guys along on this journey so that you could see what you can achieve in this game. This wasn't necessarily meant as a building game, but we sure have turned it into one, haven't we? I used some blue floor lights to really make the pool look bluer than it probably would necessarily. But yeah, what do y'all think? Are you inspired? I know this is a lot. I know not everybody's ever gonna build something like this, but it's definitely something, you can scale it down and make it yours. Well, folks, that concludes our little walkthrough tour of the tropical resort build here on my Catalina Island. I hope it's been inspiring and gives you guys some summer vibes. And if you can't take a vacation, well, come on over and hang out here, sip some margaritas and just chill out with friends. Here in the virtual world. It's a lot cheaper, I'll tell you. I hope everybody's been inspired by this. Please, please hit that like button if you've been enjoying this content, and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. We'd love to have you along on the journey. And I've also got memberships where you can join in on members-only streams, see members-only videos, and special members-only content. Link your Discord and YouTube together, and you can get even more over there. We start at 99 cents here on this channel, so, super cheap if you want to help out and support a creative like so many others here on the YouTubes. But yeah, this is my resort build. Bigger and better each time, right? After 2 years of streaming and building here on Dinkum, I'd like to think that I've gotten better with all of my things. And 3 years of playing Dinkum, I think things have gotten a lot more creative. I'd like to wish Dinkum a very happy 3rd birthday upcoming here on July 15th. And, happy channel anniversary to me. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching and hanging out with me and walking around and having a tropical vacation on me. I hope it inspires you to go out and build something amazing on your island. All right, guys, as always, y'all be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and I'll catch you in the next one.